Imagine creating one piece of content that continues to bring you clients and leads every single month, maybe even daily. And all you had to do was create the content. That's exactly what happened to a blog post I wrote over 18 months ago. It's generated well over $3,000 and brought in over 500 brand new people into my world just from one single piece of content. Today, I want to talk to you about how that has happened using my discoverable content system. And this is the exact method that I use to convert strangers into buyers and leads 24/7. Ready? But fair warning, this is not about keyword stuffing or writing for AI. And hey, if we haven't met, I'm Lise Cartwright, founder of Hustle and Groove, where I've worked with over 1,000 creative entrepreneurs to ditch social media and make daily sales. But before we dive in to all of this, let's talk about what discoverable content is. So we're talking about discoverability, not viral. And we're not talking about social media either. We are talking about long form content. So we're talking about blog posts, your YouTube channel, a podcast, if you're writing on Substack, Medium, anything like that. That is long form content and gives you the best opportunity for discoverability. It's a little bit of visibility, but this is more about meeting the audience that you're trying to get in front of. And I like to take it one step further and actually getting in front of your ready to buy customers using this content. And that kind of leads into why we don't worry about keyword stuffing and why we're not too worried about the AI side of things. Although we do want to make sure that we've done a few other things in order to show up in search results. But ultimately, what your discoverable content is all about is optimizing for your audience, optimizing for whatever it is they are searching for. So there is still keyword information in there, right? You still need to do that research. You still need to know what that is. And now you're optimizing for a person, for a human being who is genuinely looking for content. Or actually, if we're looking to target ready to buy customers, they're looking for a solution to a problem that they actually have. So when you are creating discoverable content, you're doing it through that lens of, I am optimizing this content for my ready to buy customer, which means that I need to have a pretty good idea around the problems that I'm solving and how I actually help them do that. And then your content needs to give them one actionable thing that they can do in order for them to be kind of like, wow, this person really knows what they're talking about. Now I'm going to show you the actual blog post. I'm going to break down the discoverable content elements so that you can start applying this for yourself. So here is the blog post that we are talking about, and it was about human design. And this was something that I discovered in 2020. This blog post here was written in March 2021. So that's how old it is. Now, I also have a YouTube channel and I also have a podcast, but in this scenario, there is just the actual YouTube video here. There isn't a podcast episode that goes along with it. The things that I want you to start to pay attention to are things like links. So anything that you see here that's pink, that's a link. And then you'll just start to see how this kind of flows. So when I wrote this blog post, the keyword that I'm really looking to optimize for is human design for business. So when I wrote this, there wasn't a lot of information around about how to actually apply your own human design into your business. In other words, how to actually make aligned decisions, how to market your business, all of those things using your unique gifts, strengths, and talents, which is exactly what human design does for you. So that's the keyword, long tail keyword that I optimized for was human design for business, because I knew that the people who search for human design for business are the people that I'm trying to get in front of. They're the people that I'm trying to help. And I'm still ranking on the first page of search results, aside from all of the AI stuff that is happening. And because this blog post is old, it continues to get traffic coming through. Now, there are a couple of things that I've done to make this blog post discoverable. Number one, I'm using a WordPress website. So I'm using the Yoast plugin. And what the Yoast plugin does is gives me like a green light when I'm kind of hitting all the SEO baseline metrics. And that's all I'm worried about. I'm not worried about trying to get all these other different keywords in there, because ultimately I'm optimizing this for a person who is doing the search, right? They are looking for the thing. I'm not running pay-per-clicks or anything like that, right? So I'm not running ads to this. This is purely organic. And so I'm using Yoast. The other thing that I've done is I've also set up the site map in Google so that the searchability piece comes through, and every 30 days I'm getting an email from Google Search Console that tells me that this blog post is still consistently showing up in the top results. And that's exactly what I want. Now, how do people get into my world? All of those things. Well, they do it through my actual link. So I have a chart tool that allows someone to get their human design for business chart, right? So not just a personal chart, it's got that business overlay. And what it does is obviously adds them to my email list. And then what happens from there is I then present a whole bunch of different options for human design for them to start integrating. So I have an entire book series that helps them. I have a custom business planner, and then I have individual tools for each type so that people can just dive straight into the world of human design for business, right? So that's how that kind of works. So you can see here that this is not a short blog post. It's got plenty of meat to it. There's visuals. There's lots of different things going on here, and we get all the way down to the bottom. Like I said, it's a long blog post. I definitely don't write short. And then I'm giving people, visuals of what this all looks like. And then this is the book that I'm linking to. So this takes them through to purchase. And then from there, like I said, there's all those other components. So when you are sitting down to kind of map out your discoverable content, you always want to run it through that lens of what is the offer that I'm actually looking to sell through this actual piece of content. So it's not about writing tons of content. It's writing strategic, discoverable content that has a very specific purpose, and that is to funnel people either into your email list or to an offer. And honestly, why wouldn't you do both, right? It makes sense. So this is my Google Search Console, and I am looking at the Insights tab because that makes looking and understanding all of this so much easier. Now, I've just done the last 3 months so you can see which content is trending, and you can see the very second piece of content is Start and Grow Your Business Using Human Design. And that is another blog post that I wrote just after I did the one for Human Design for Business. So it often switches backward and forwards between those two. But this is the one and the other one that brings in the most amount of people. So then you can see, as we scroll through, you can see how people are finding you, all of that information. But this is probably the most helpful. And what is great about this is when you go into it, it tells you even more information, all of those things. So you can see Human Design for Business, what all of the different variations on that. So if you haven't set up Google Search Console for your blog content, I highly recommend that you do that, because you're going to start to see over time just how well this actually works. And this is inside my kit account. And as you can see here, over 500 subscribers have come in through my human design chart tool. And that is the number one way people join my email list, based on that human design content. So if you're ready for coaching, accountability, and implementation, guidance, support, all the things, then I'd love for you to come and check out the feedback loop. The link on your screen is where you can go, or you can just simply check out the link in the description. And I can't wait to work with you soon. So this whole process is very much about human first, right? We are writing for humans. We're recording content for humans. So if you can always remember that, then this will make this entire process easier. Now, I do have an entire system called the Discoverable Content System. You will find more details below about that. But The bottom line is, and your best next action step is to review your existing content, right? We don't have to start from scratch. We can review our existing content, go back through and make sure it's speaking to your ready to buy customer. Go in and check the keyword optimization and make sure it's the keyword that you want your ideal ready to buy customer to be discovering you for, right? That's how that's working. That's the nuance of creating discoverable content. Well, the next video that is coming up on your screen right now is going to help you get in front of your audience even more through storytelling. So I'm going to see you in that video.